everybody asks me, how did it feel to play with Roger?
They ask me, who is that girl? So she's my daughter. No, she is diamond. I was very determined when we came back from America. I will make you play tennis.
There came a time when I thought I wasn't enjoying the game as much as I should. I was very particular about the fact that it should never happen in your case.
Could you count on fingers how many people supported you at that point?
It took us about 30 hours to get to Tirupati. I reached there and you lost in the first round, incidentally.
The secret to your happy marriage.
Secret of a happy marriage, we stayed away. I looked at my phone and there were like about 100 missed calls. Yeah, I remember morning of the match, the final of Wimbledon, and you were a bit nervous. That's the first time I think I've seen you a bit nervy. Normally you're such a cool customer. You were hitting the ball all over the place in the practice, and the match was in the evening, and I remember telling you, just calm yourself down. It'll all fall into place when the match starts off. Just trying to calm you down.
Life was never the same for any of us. Oh, hi. Don't worry guys, this is still Serving It Up with Sania, but with a twist. I've had the opportunity to have the most incredible conversations with all kinds of people, and I've gotten to know people so closely. And honestly, I think it's time I open up too. And who better than the two people who know me the best in the world, my parents. And finally, welcome to Serving It Up with Sania. We are very excited to have you because this is our grand finale. Is it weird or is it nice? What do you guys feel?
It's very excited. I'm very excited because first time you are interviewing us. This is something very
Yeah, and I think
special
after
for
what,
us.
more than 3 decades of us serving
Yeah.
you in Indian tennis, it's you who's serving it up.
Well, yes. So we're quickly going to start we have a small fun game. There's some pictures right next to you. I have not really seen those pictures. The team has gathered some special memories from our lives and our moments together, and we just want you to pick up one picture at a time and just tell us the memory attached to it.
This is in SMTA, Sania Mirza Tennis Academy, our dream project, Sania. I remember when you were about 7 or 8, we used to really struggle to find hard courts for you. And we had to spend hours waiting for hard courts. And it was always our dream to provide something for Hyderabad and Indian tennis. And this is the academy we've produced in your name, which hopefully you will carry on the legacy that we have managed to.
Inshallah.
Very special because I just want to tell everybody that this is the baby of our home. We've created Sania Mirza Tennis Academy with love and with sweat and with blood and with everything to try and provide the generation of today what we didn't have and how difficult it is for us. So to try and take that load off them. So that's why the academy and that project is extremely special to us and our family.
Though it is my turn, still you speak about this picture.
Yeah, because it's my picture here with
That's
Sania.
why.
This is one of the pictures taken out of the hundreds or thousands of hours that we spent together on the tennis courts. And very happy memories, working hard and trying to achieve something that no other Indian girl had ever achieved. And this is the sweat and blood that went into it.
Yeah, lots of sweat.
Yeah.
That's the Khel Ratna, the ultimate sporting honor that an Indian can get, which Sania won. Getting it from the president is a great honor, of course.
2016.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken.
15, I think, or 2015 US Open, I think, or 16.
And
I
you
had
especially
flown,
came down for this for a couple of days, for a
so
day.
I literally took like New York, Delhi, and just came, took the award, and then went back. And the reason that I did that, I just want to say, because the first time I got the Arjuna award, I couldn't receive the award, and my mom had to go and receive the award. And people think I'm crazy when I tell them that, because I was like, well, I got the Arjuna award, but I didn't have time to receive it because I was busy playing and, out somewhere at a tournament. So I was very adamant that I wanted to come and take this award because I really wanted to experience what it feels like to have the highest honors
Yes,
of
and
our
I was
country.
really concerned how you were going to handle the flights flying into Delhi and then back to US to play the US Open. But thankfully, you came back and won the US Open.
Yeah.
This picture, remember?
Yeah, we were going for a wedding, very special wedding, the family together. Just happy memories of, some of the off time from tennis.
Look at Anam.
Yeah.
Anam is, bilkul, she's not going to be happy with this picture at all.
I think this
Mama,
was a
why
very,
did you cut her hair like this mushroom cut that you put for
yeah,
her for
that was in style that time.
No, I don't think that's in style at all. That
When
looks
you-
like
when,
the opposite
when you
of
were young,
style.
even you had this cut.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I had nothing to do with it. Blame your mother for that.
Yeah, because you had no hair, else I would have done your also mushroom cut.
Yeah, this is a
It's
very
in Delhi.
special photo. IPTL
IPTL Delhi.
Delhi, where Sania partnered the legend Roger Federer. And we have some great memories with Roger too, at least I do, and Sania, of course, does. In 2006, I think Sania was being coached by Tony Roche, and he was also coaching Roger Federer at that time. And we were at Tony Roche's home where Sania was hitting with, it was a dream for Sania to be hitting at that stage, at 18, 19-year-old, hitting with Roger Federer, the legend. And while I was watching them, in walked the legend of my time, Ken Rosewell. And while we chatted away, Ken and I, Sania was hitting with Roger, with Tony Roche coaching them. And I think that was the ultimate dream that I could have ever had, which came true.
Yeah, I had the best seat in the house for this match. Everybody asked me, how did it feel to play with Roger? And I'm like, did it feel like, was it exciting? I was like, of course it was exciting, but it was the best seat in the house because I've never seen, I mean, in my opinion, he's the most talented player ever to pick up a tennis racket, but that's, I guess, arguable. But it was like the best seat in the house. I've never seen people do things like that on a tennis court that he was able to do, even that in that, short time that we played together. What an amazing experience.
This is a beautiful picture.
You already saw it.
I already saw it. It's a beautiful picture. We all are looking very young. It's a picture of, we had gone for one of the
For a brand,
sponsors,
yeah.
for
Yeah,
the
this was in
shoe
Venice.
size
This
or
was in
something.
Venice.
Yeah, it's from Venice. And you see Anam over here. She was so off mood all the time.
She was very happy in this picture,
No, but in
she
this
was very
picture she's
upset.
happy, but she was all the time off mood because uski shopping nahi ho rahi thi. Shopping. That time she used to say shopping, shopping.
I don't remember this picture, but like I
Our
guess
two
you guys
superstars
Two
of our home.
superstars, yeah.
just see, she
when
has
they
the
were
same
younger.
haircut here also.
Yeah.
Like the one that has continued till she was 10 years old, and mom's insisting it was in style.
Yeah. It was in style. Today
So
also it's in
cute.
style.
Even Dua looks exactly like this.
Yeah.
Just look
She
at the
does.
picture. She
Yeah,
just
she
looks,
does.
she's
And
identical.
you, Izan looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like mini
के-
Izan and mini
Izan के
Dua.
बाल बड़े कर दिए ऐसा लग रहा है.
But before you tell us about this picture actually brings us to our next segment, which is postcards and passports powered by British Airways. Mama, so tell us about this moment.
When we were in London for Wimbledon, first of all, you were not getting into the draw. Like we were searching for a partner. And then we found one girl, Elisa Klebanova. But her mother said, I will test your daughter's forehand and then I will tell you, khelna hai ki nahi khelna hai. You remember that? And next day we had a practice session with her and she said, okay, we will partner. So London weather
We were
is
the
so
last entry in the list.
No,
You
first it was
remember,
draw
yeah.
of 32 and then you got in like on number 17 or 18, something like that, and you all got in because you were number 7 at that time in juniors and they had taken her singles ranking. Next day practice ke baad they decided, okay, we'll partner. And London ka weather to malum na kaisa hai, barish गिरने lagi. And they were like debating ke doubles juniors cancel kar denge. But finally they concluded, okay, we'll make it a draw of 16. And you guys were on the 16th spot. And from first round in Wimbledon,
We played the top seed in the first
seed
round.
in the first round, right? Or you went on beating all the seeded player and eventually, alhamdulillah, you won Wimbledon in London.
Before this, I remember 2001, that was the first time when you were playing Wimbledon Juniors. And you had gone with Mama there. And nobody wanted to hit with you. Nobody wanted to practice with you. They thought, the coaches thought that if they played with an Indian girl, they had no chance of improving their game. So Mama called me up and said that you need to come here and hit with Sania because no one wants to practice with her.
Yeah.
And had actually taken a British Airways flight to,
Yeah.
to London in 2001 to hit with you. Fortunately, by then you found someone to hit with. But I felt really proud that I was called up to hit at Wimbledon.
In London.
That's what
In
you
London,
were proud
yes.
about,
Yeah.
not
Yeah, not that you.
Two
not
years
that I was
later.
playing
When you were
Wimbledon, not
playing
that I won
Wimbledon,
Wimbledon.
2 years later, when you won Wimbledon, I think that was a great honor for all of us.
Yeah,
That
we have
I think
lovely
2 years we had.
moments in London where we used to hire the bungalow and stay all of us together over there.
Yeah.
You know, it was good memories. We have London memories.
Yeah, no, I think that, in general, London is a very special place, not just for us, but also because for every tennis player that goes there, but for us in particular, because we've had some of the best moments. And this is a moment that happened right after we came back from London, where we were in an open bus and we were straight from the airport. We went to meet the chief minister at the time. At that time, it was Andhra Pradesh, and now it's Telangana. But after that, many years later, actually, this was 2003. So in 2015, we had the opportunity to, at that time, then experience winning the on center court of Wimbledon and experience winning the professional women's doubles. And it was me and Martina, and we had one of the greatest women's doubles matches that was ever played. That's what we were told, at least,
Yeah, it
because I
was,
had
because-
Roger come the next morning and said to me, "What a match that you guys played
And I think
last
this was
night."
the first time you ever experienced superstardom. That's
Yes,
when you won in
that's why I said
2003.
after this moment, actually, this is a very important and
defining
special.
moment
Yeah,
in
it is
your
a very
career.
core moment, because after this moment, life was never the same for any of us.
Absolutely.
I think it's safe to
Absolutely
say.
correct, yeah.
Not just because of the fame, but everything else that came with it. And I think also our expectations from ourselves also became extremely high
Absolutely.
after this, because we also believed, I think, truly believed that we
Yes, I think
had.
that's where I think we decided that you had arrived on the
Yeah,
tennis,
and that we had a
international
chance
circuit.
to actually do what we
Yeah.
did. So yeah, amazing memories. Last time I traveled to London with British Airways, it honestly felt so seamless from start to finish. The crew made me feel at home with warm, thoughtful service. The meals were the highlight. A mix of classic British favorites and Indian options. So there's always something you're in the mood for. Seamless travel, delightful service, and delicious food. What more could one ask for? I want to ask both of you this question, and I know we've said this many times in interviews and stuff, but I want to know really the reason. Is it that you guys actually thought when I was that young, okay, we'll make her a tennis player? Why did you guys choose that path?
We never thought we'll make you a tennis player. But I was very determined when we came back from America that I will make you play tennis. There's a reason behind that. Do you want to know that? I don't know if you know that or Imran knows that. When your cousins used to play tennis, we used to drive with your
With
aunt.
them,
And you used to cry over there. Mama, even I want to play tennis. And that time we couldn't afford that much amount to pay the coaching fee. And I told you, I promise you, once we go to Hyderabad, first thing I'm going to do is enroll you into tennis.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Yeah, but for me, I think playing some sport was very normal. Our family background, it was more cricket, but we followed sport very closely, and it was very serious stuff for us. Sport was not just a game; it was very serious stuff for us, where we wanted to learn from the sport, the winning, the losing, the excitement, everything, the disappointments, everything. So it happened to be tennis. Tennis was my second love after cricket, and
But if I was a boy, I would probably be playing
possibly would have
cricket.
been.
Coming to that, if you were a boy, definitely you would have been a cricket player. But when I was carrying you, that time we were watching some match on the TV. I think it was Steffi Graf or Novotna, I think. And I didn't know the scoring also, nor her head and tail of tennis at all. I was zero. So Baba told me, if you get a girl, do you think we can make her play like Steffi Graf? Do you think we can do
She'll
it?
play at Wimbledon. It was a Wimbledon match.
Wimbledon or whatever, like, do you think we can create a player like Steffi? I said, Inshallah, whatever it takes, I will give whatever it takes and I will try. If not,
Yeah,
it's a girl.
Yeah,
I hope he remembers
it's
that.
It's been many years, but I think you were already born that time when we were watching.
No,
You're probably
no.
about 3 or 4.
That was
at
second time. But when I was carrying with her,
Possibly, yeah.
that time also
But then,
you told.
sport has always been that
Yeah,
important for us.
you are very passionate about sport.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
No, so it took a lot to be ahead of the times at that time, right? And coming from a middle class family, probably at best, or a little upper middle class family in Hyderabad, where we had just moved back, it wasn't something a go-to for a lot of parents to do. And I was the only child at that time.
In
when
fact,
we
it was a
started.
no-no.
It was a no-no, exactly. Obviously, it took something special for you guys to think that much ahead of your time, not to make me a tennis player, but also just to play a sport, because everything was about at that point, kali ho jayengi, aisa ho jayega, you know.
Yeah, we took a lot of that from relatives and friends.
इवन
And,
बहुत दिन मेरे को भी बोलते थे, दीवानी है, इतना पैसा खर्चा तुम ना करते, क्या ने क्या क्या बहुत बड़ी चैंपियन बनने वाली है क्या?
In fact, when we started traveling with you for tournaments in a car, that was the most affordable thing to do for us, to travel so that we could leave the day you lost rather than stay on in the hotel and get reservations and trains. A lot of people thought these people have gone crazy, and we had to accept
But rightfully
that.
so. I mean, we had to be a little crazy to do what we were doing.
And I remember people, tongue in cheek saying that they think that they are planning. They've got
gone mad.
They've got a Martina Hingis in their family or what, and it was a great rebuttal for us that many years later, when you became world number one, Martina Hingis would happen to be your partner.
So for me, like honestly, I think मेरे को जब belief आया, I was like, I think when I won that, under 14, under 16 on the same
National,
day,
yes.
the Masters
Zonal
at that point,
Masters.
yeah, Adidas
Zonal
Masters, it was
yeah.
called at that time. And when we had our first ever sponsor brand endorsement that came
yeah.
with it, that for me was a pivotal point where I felt that, okay, maybe I am good. But at 12, you think many things. I mean, I also wanted to be a doctor and I wanted to be an interior designer, I wanted to be many things. When was it for you guys that you guys thought that, besides the Wimbledon moment, not after, but before that, when did you think, Mama, ke, acha, I think that she can become a great tennis player or great of this country or something?
So I think same point, what you're talking about. In Delhi, when you won under 14 and 16, when you were 12 years old, that time it was like, actually,
You
believed
felt.
in you.
Yeah, but I think it was, in the initial years, it was never about becoming world number one or winning Wimbledon. It was about winning the under 8 or reaching the semi-final of the under 10 state ranking championship. We took a lot of pride in that. And that's probably that one reason why it didn't put that kind of pressure on the whole family. Because if you, at the age of 8, 9, and 10, you start thinking of winning Wimbledon, that's a lot of pressure if you start losing in a semi-final of under 12 tournament.
So that is something that I want you to talk to the viewers about, because I think it's important for the upcoming kids who play sport today and for their parents more than the children to understand where to because the line is quite blurry of how much you push and how much pressure you put and how much pressure they feel. So how did you guys find that balance?
I understood what parental pressure was. I did feel a little bit of it myself. I played some sport, and the pressure of expectations from parents, even when they don't want to show it, they don't want to put pressure, but just from their disappointment and that can put pressure on the child. And there came a time when I thought I wasn't enjoying the game as much as I should, and I was very particular about the fact that that should never happen in your case. And I made it a point, and I think it was. I had to explain to Nasima as well. She didn't understand that kind, because as a mother, you think if a child loses because they haven't given their best, they think the child is a world beater, and they lose, it is because they haven't tried. That was one thing. You would have noticed that all these years, starting from the under 8, under 10s, we never ever spoke negatively to you whenever you lost. It was a learning process for you, for us, and we wanted that to be a positive thing, where you learn from your mistakes. And as long as you tried your best, we were happy with the result. And our expectations were from the beginning weren't about winning Wimbledon. It was about enjoying the whole process.
Yeah, enjoying.
Enjoying.
Yeah, with the struggles and the disappointments and overcoming them, we enjoy that. So I think that is something that parents need to understand. When they start putting pressure on the child, the child stops enjoying the game, and then it's downhill from there, and that's very.
Do you remember whenever you used to lose a match, when we used to go for All India tournaments, whenever you used to lose, we used to go for a movie, all of us. Remember, all the friends and all the mothers, we all used to go for a movie, especially after you lost.
Yeah, we would want you to feel that it's winning and losing are all part of the game, and that was very important for us, that the fear of losing never came into you.
Yeah, and I felt that, but the reason this is so important is because I feel that today the kids, and especially the parents, are playing sport for the wrong reasons. And that's the message I'm trying to get across, is that we didn't ever play for the fame or the money or the accolades or any of the things that came with it, or the red carpets. We played for the love of the game. And I think that's something that you
And
guys
I
should
remember
talk
a very
about.
promising player, women's player, a friend of yours, who I saw her playing a match, and she was losing continuously in tournaments, and I saw that she was putting so much pressure on herself. And I went and asked her that, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Why are you doing that? Why don't you enjoy the game? And she was very honest enough to say that, Uncle, there was a time when I was much younger when my parents used to put a lot of pressure on me to win. And today they don't do that. But because of that, now I put that same pressure on myself. So that actually destroyed her career probably because that kind of pressure doesn't work in international tennis.
So going back, Mama, maybe you should answer this a little bit more because Baba had family in America when we had decided to move there when I was very, very young, before I started playing tennis. What prompted the decision to move back, and what made both of you feel, okay, maybe India is the place that we should, build our lives, rebuild our lives?
Truly speaking, when we went to America, at the time we were well settled in Hyderabad. We had our own business, we had our own house. And going there with you, you were 4 years old when we went there. And we had to struggle over there, work over there, take care of you, do the jobs, and then come home and cook and clean the clothes and all. I said, that's not my cup of tea, I said. I asked Imran, do you want to stay here? I'm ready to stay. If you want to stay, I will stay. If you want to go
I
back,
was running
we'll go back.
Mom was working somewhere, and I was running a printing press. And we couldn't afford to have
2 cars.
Send you to school because the free school starts only after you're 6 and you were 4 years old. So the whole day you would be hanging around in the printing press and getting bored, and just looking at you getting bored that way. We thought this is not the life that we are looking for in America.
I wanted that.
And we thought we might have made it there, but we thought when we compared to the life we were leading in India,
much better.
I think we were much better off here. So we decided to come
No,
back,
not
which people thought was crazy
yeah,
again.
that's what I was about to say.
But
So
then
maybe we were a little crazy, but
it's destiny, Sania.
Yeah,
It's destiny.
that's destiny.
That's the
no,
destiny.
but I want to say that 30 years ago, I mean, this is more than 30 years ago.
Yeah. Nobody's
At
going
that
to return
point,
the
yeah,
green cards.
exactly. Because no, and at that point, America was the dream. I mean, it was the land of opportunity, and I actually thought that we were mad to
Man, we are
come back.
returning the green cards and taking 10 years
But also
visa.
that memory of 1991, you're too young then probably to remember, but you would have been told about it. We were traveling from Ohio, my brother's place, to my sister's place in California. And we were booked on a flight on a Friday. I think it was the 6th of March, 1991. I'm not sure about the dates, on the 6th of February, maybe. And
It was Friday.
It was a Friday.
Yeah.
And normally I don't travel on Friday, but somehow the tickets were cheaper that time, and that was what we could afford. We bought the Friday ticket. And then a couple of days before we were to travel, my sister called from California and said, it'll be difficult for me to come and pick you up on a Friday. Why don't you change your ticket to Saturday? So although it was costing us money because there was no one to pick us up, we decided that we'll change our tickets, and we got them done for Saturday. And as luck would have it, as destiny would have it, the flight we were booked on Friday just crashed. So we could have been on that flight. We were booked on that
I'm
flight.
getting
The three of us
goosebumps,
could
you
have
know.
been. The three
My
of us could
God.
have been done
And
for
there would have
at
been
that
no
time.
Anam because she
There
was
would-
not
Yeah.
born. She
So
was
that's
not born.
destiny. I believe in destiny.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
destiny.
Allah wanted.
Yeah.
And
And I
that's
wanted
what-
to come
And
back.
then we were on the same flight the next day.
Next day,
They're on the same flight the
same
next
number,
day,
same
and
number,
there were
same
hardly
time.
about 3 or 4 other passengers along with us because everyone was too scared to travel on the same flight. But I settled the issue saying that one flight cannot crash 2 days in a row. So
No.
I think we're pretty safe.
I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the world. I don't think that was going to happen. So, how did it feel? And then, obviously, clearly from your decisions that you were making, you were okay in doing things that people didn't agree with. So, it was fine. But how did it feel being, especially initially, being the only 2 people, because I was too young to understand it, really believing and backing the dream that we were trying to achieve? How, and people didn't really understand
It's love
that.
for sport.
Yeah, it was a passion. It
Basically,
has to be a passion.
passion.
Like you said, it cannot be for the money. It cannot be for the fame. It has to be a wild passion. And then we were almost in a trance that time. We were ready to do anything that it took to make you succeed in tennis. And I think we were together in that. And that's what probably drew us together.
We're always together, man.
Could you could you count on fingers how many people supported you at that point?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I won't
There were a
not
few.
like to take the names.
No, there were people who supported us, but I don't think too many people believed in us, even though they supported us. So we actually started believing. And, I had some kind of an eye for ball games. I hadn't played tennis at a very high level, but I understood ball games really well. And when I saw you hit the ball, I knew there was something very special in the way you were striking the ball. It wasn't ordinary. And that made me believe, or even though at that stage, like I said, we never thought that you would be world number one. We thought you could maybe be a
India
top
number
player,
one or
India number
something.
one, or a top player in the country,
Or
which would.
Jubilee Hills number one.
But
Banjara Hills at
When
that
we used to
point.
But we would have been
practice-
happy with that. As long as you reached what you were capable of doing, I would have been extremely happy with what you achieved, because I enjoy the sport. I enjoy the fact that you were playing sport at a high level. And you're
So when
playing
I was
well for
8,
yourself.
I was playing these 16-year-olds,
See,
right?
when you were 8, when you used to hit the ball in that Ace Tennis Academy, other parents used to watch. When first time you went there, they didn't know who you were. They would ask me, "Who is that girl?" I said, "She's my daughter. You know, she's diamond, diamond.
Well, like I was a diamond.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
playing like a diamond.
Okay.
She's going
So
to shine.
weird
The
Yeah, but
pictures
then-
will shine."
Yeah, you had very special talent, no
But
doubt about
because
that.
those people were also crazy because they were bringing
Yeah.
their kids to the tennis court, so of course they were going to make crazy comments like that.
Like many years later, when you were playing WTA, I remember a top-notch coach coming up to me. I didn't even know him. He came up to me and said, "I just want you to know that there are a few technical flaws in Sania's game because she hasn't been taught the perfect things as far as technique goes. But I've been on the circuit almost 25 years, and in 25 years, I've never seen a raw talent of the caliber of Sania Mirza." So that was something very special, and I think that's the kind of talent you needed to get out of a non-existent system that we had in India at that time. It's marginally
it
better
still
today,
is-
but
it is still quite
yeah.
Again, we were
non-existent.
lucky enough because it was an individual sport.
Yeah.
That's why we could do what we wanted to do.
But all said and done, it was destiny. Things fell into
Yeah,
place.
obviously, destiny is always there, but being an individual sport, you have an advantage.
And what about the moments of doubt? Like when, I'm sure there were many moments, it was a long career and there were moments of doubt that came. I can say from my experience, but from your experience as parents, how did those feel like?
Yeah, there were so many controversies which obviously hurt us. We tried to keep you away from them. Over the years, we tried to keep you secluded. But that hurt, and then sometimes you wondered, why did we get into this at all if this was what you were into? There was a time when even you got disgruntled and wanted to give up the sport, I remember, in Australia, when there were so many controversies
Yeah.
doing the rounds. So that was hurtful, and that's
In
when
Perth, I
one
think,
wondered
right?
that.
In Perth. It was in
See,
Perth.
losses didn't deter us. It was these kind of episodes that
Yes.
that were deterrent.
But in a time where education, sport was not really given importance. I mean, today you know that you can earn a living from sport. You can actually make money outside of cricket as well. But I'm saying that at that time, what was the plan B? Because there were 1 in a billion chances that it was not going to work out, like literally 1 in a billion, and we're not even exaggerating here. So what was plan B at that point?
Get you married.
Well, that didn't work out. So,
all plan B's for all parents are this only. Okay.
No, but what about
पढ़ाई नहीं, खेल नहीं, तो शादी कर दो.
But I was getting educated, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want you
of
to talk
course.
about that because people just
Yeah,
stop
so many
education.
people. There were so many coaches who would say, come up to me and say, it's, she's got some talent. It might be a good idea for her to stop school and, just focus on tennis. Tennis, there can be a career and stuff like that. But that was something I'd completely disapproved of, because the education is something you need to have, irrespective of anything else that you may do. And we were very, very adamant that you continue to go to school. It was an extra effort for us to, even though you didn't attend all the classes and stuff, but we made sure
finished
that
normal
you
boards
yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yeah,
You're part of a school and of an institution. That was important. I think that gives you a personality and it gives you
Confidence also.
Absolutely.
Social skills, I guess. also.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and you have friends from school even today.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have had if you didn't go to school, and it's very important. Even though if you don't attend it,
Regularly.
regularly, that's it.
And during those times, obviously, we had headmistress was the one, because I was an extremely, I don't know how many people know, but I was a geek. I really loved studying. I was one of
Yeah.
those people who never wanted to miss school. And if I got anything under 95, 97, I would start crying, like with
99
tears. I
also
was
you
like,
would cry.
I would be like, why didn't I get 100? So I was one of those. Tell everybody about the story of how the headmistress at that time and who she was and how she convinced
Can I
me
take the
to
name?
go.
This is Mrs. Khan, late Mr. Pataudi's sister.
Yeah, she was
was
Nawab
the
Pataudi's
headmistress.
sister, was the headmistress.
Destiny. If we
Yeah.
didn't have another
Yeah.
sports person
And
sister
she was the
there.
one who convinced Sania that it's okay to miss a bit of school. It's okay to not get 100%. Sport is important.
And she told
was the
you,
one.
you go out and play. Go out of Hyderabad. I will take care of your attendance. You don't worry.
Yeah. So you briefly spoke about how we traveled in a car and it was one third, fourth hand car that we used to go. जो हर 1-2 घंटे को रुक जाती
रुक
थी.
जाती थी,
Tell
हाँ.
us about why we did that, and also how was the experience. And actually, it became into an amazing memory, I think. But what did you guys? How did you guys navigate that?
Well, it wasn't really any kind of a swanky car that you drive, but it was a car, all right.
Which I drive now. I mean, now I'm allowed to drive that. At that time, it was stopping every 2 hours.
It was still something, It was the cheapest form of transport for us, because the day you lost, we could just move on to the next destination, rather than pay for the hotel for the next few days. And
Imagine
then
if the petrol prices were like today.
We had a diesel car. We had a diesel car.
I had actually gone to Guntur. I bought a very old Maruti car, got it dieselized in Guntur, because there was a mechanic there who used to put an engine of another car into that, because diesel was very cheap comparatively. It was almost 50% of the price of petrol. But nobody along the way on the highways we drove knew how to repair a dieselized car that was initially a petrol car. If it conked out, it conked out. There was a time, I think, we were traveling
There
from
was
here
no
to...
plan B there also.
No plan B. And we were traveling from here to Thiruvananthapuram one year, and we took a break in Bangalore. And just before reaching Bangalore, something happened, and the car was traveling. When I gave the full accelerator, it was traveling at about 20 kilometers an hour. So we managed to reach Bangalore. We found a mechanic there who repaired it, and then we took a break of a few hours. And then we started our journey again to Thiruvananthapuram. And it was okay for about 80 kilometers. And then again, it started going at about 15 kilometers an hour. And so we had no way we could come back to Bangalore. And the only way was to reach Thiruvananthapuram at the speed we were going.
It took us, what,
It
like
took
4
us
days?
It took us about 30 hours to get to Thiruvananthapuram. I reached there and you lost in the first round, incidentally.
No, and now when people ask me, do you want Izhan to play tennis? I have all these memories or traumas. I don't know what you want to call them. And I'm like, I really don't want him to play tennis, even though now I know I don't need to go in a fourth-hand car to take him everywhere.
No,
but
I want him to play tennis.
So you want him, you take him.
I will take him.
In the Maruti, in
I
the
know.
diesel.
I will get, you will give me a jet to take him. Inshallah.
Wow, I don't think he's making it anywhere if he's flying on jets to get to tennis tournaments, the under 14 to Thiruvananthapuram.
But it was fun. Like you would have,
it was
there were fun memories which we still carry today.
We had
You
dua
would,
with us, I mean,
Anam.
Anam with us all the time.
Anam was what, about 3
It
or
was a
4
plus
years
point,
old.
yeah.
No, and that was the only way we could be together as a family, as a unit. Otherwise, it was impossible.
Yeah,
I think that's the kind of, I think it gave us a special bonding which we still carry, and that's the amazing part.
I know, but that's why I hate car rides now. I will not go in the car anywhere.
Well,
which
you
is
like your
more than
family,
2
that's
hours.
good enough. Whether
Yeah,
you hate the cars or
I
not
had to
isn't
pick
important.
one, so I chose family over the car ride. I cannot go in the car anymore. And Mama loves going. She'll just randomly sit in the car and leave for Bangalore. She'll just leave for Chennai.
I love driving.
Yeah, because at that time she wasn't driving that much. I was doing all the driving because Anam was young, about 2-3 years old.
I used
Acha,
to
And
help
when
you.
she drove the car,
I used to help you.
If Anam just said mom, she would just turn around,
While driving.
I used to help you. Okay, yeah. Agree to that.
Yeah, of course. But
did
but
help.
my pressure and tension
मगर
was
उनको
that
इतनी आदत हो गई अभी भी निकल जाते हो ना चलो एक 5-6 दोस्तों को बिठा के I'll go to
Bombay
Bangalore,
चले जाए.
Bombay, everywhere
I
she
love
go,
driving.
everywhere she wants to drive and go.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a serious question, but this is a question that has been asked to me, being a girl and all of this stuff. You also came from a family who only had 2 girls at that point. Not only, by only I mean what people thought only have 2 girls. And there were a lot of uncomfortable questions that used to maybe come your way, saying that, oh, you don't have a son. It was almost like I used to get something, aapka bhai nahi hai. Like I used to get pity looks from people. At that time, how was it that did you feel the pressure of ever having a son? Or?
Never felt
people
pressure.
would ask for sure. People would comment for sure. But I think I came from a family where we never ever thought of a girl. Yeah, there was no discrimination ever. In fact, I think my sister is an architect who's better qualified than I am. So
better qualified than all of us.
I always wanted girls. I never wanted boys. So Lamia gave me both the girls.
But having had 2 girls, I think before Izhan was born,
you were really agitating
I was
for a
agitating
boy?
for a boy because I had seen enough problems of girls. I wanted to see the problems of boys.
Yeah, you will see them. But you were the only one who was agitating for a boy because you
Boy.
were like, I cannot deal with any more girl issues. I just need one boy to come into the family. But I always knew he was going to be a boy, and I kept saying that. Then obviously Anam happened when there's a significant age gap that there is. And was that because I was playing tennis and because you moved from America? And how did you balance? Especially you as a mother, how did you balance the act? Because I was still quite young and obviously Anam was just born. How did you balance being a parent to somebody who was following a dream and a career path who you had to be there for and having a very young infant at home?
Besides everybody, it was Imran's support. We had Purni was there to help us. I hope you remember Purni. And then I used to take Anam also sometimes for your practice sessions.
But
And
the age
traveling
gap was
time.
because we couldn't afford it. At that point, we were struggling. We were really struggling. We went to America, we
Also
were
very
struggling there.
important in today's day and age to speak in this
Yeah.
country that if you
Yeah.
can't afford it, maybe wait. Don't just keep
Yeah,
having
just coming
children.
back from America and start another, like for a,
Yeah.
can't think of another child.
It was a struggle in America. Then when he came back, it was again a struggle to
struggle.
re-establish the business we had left over here. So it took us a while to get financially stable.
Alhamdulillah, everything was good.
And you both were very young when we started on this journey, and you guys decided to give it your all. You were in your early 30s,
Early 30s, yeah.
and you were in your
28?
no, when I
he-
was
when he
6,
started
so he was
playing
in early
in my-
30s. You were just about 20, late 29, late 20s, or
Yeah.
very very early 30s or 30.
very.
So it must have taken. Of course, it took a toll on your lives. But what did it? Do you feel like did it take anything away from your own lives? Like leaving the children aside, did it take anything away from you all?
एक औरत जब माँ बनती है, everything is for the child. So I had given up that बस बच्चे ही मेरे सब कुछ है, like how you do today for Rizhan, I used to do for you.
But you also still worked. It's not
Yeah,
like
I
you were
was
not
working
You
also
were
because you
working.
were when you were going to school. I used to work also printing press. Baba used to go for construction.
So you didn't take it as a sacrifice. You just took it as something you needed to do.
It's a duty.
No, I
Every
don't think it
parent's
was a
duty.
sacrifice
It's
at
not
all.
a
We enjoyed the
sacrifice.
whole process, and we're doing it for
Yeah.
doing it for your children. You
It
don't
is,
consider it a
it's not a
sacrifice.
sacrifice. It's our duty to do it.
And you were doing well, and that was the ultimate happiness for us when you were doing well.
Okay, well, thank you for that answer, and thank you for doing everything that you did for me and for us. And Mama, since you love making reels, if anybody follows my mother, you'll see on Instagram, she loves making reels. We have a Digitech hamper for you all.
Thank you.
And Baba, we have one for you also.
But he doesn't. I'll take both.
No, then this is an inspiration to make some with our.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Knowing both of you, I know Mom won't answer this question because she's too shy to even like acknowledge anything. But I'm saying, I want to ask you that you guys were a very young couple when you decided to dedicate your lives to this dream that we saw. Did that affect you as a couple, like leaving just as both of you? Did it a good effect, bad effect, anything?
I think it actually brought us closer together, as a team, because we were both chasing the same dream. We were all chasing the same dream, and we were ready to handle any kinds of problems that
His
ever
dream,
came.
not my dream.
It
I was chasing his dream.
Yeah, but it became our dream. So, it was,
eventually,
I
yes.
think it brought us closer. We didn't have any time to fight after that because there was just too much going on.
Well, also you were not together a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's
so
the other thing. That
the
probably,
secret to your happy marriage.
That's the secret
Yeah, that is the
of a
secret
happy
for
marriage.
40 years
We stayed
happy
away.
marriage.
It's done. 40 is done, right?
Yeah. 40 is done.
Oh yeah, I'm 39, so it's done. Baba, being a parent of a young girl who was then chasing something that was what we were trying to do, and being a parent was hard enough. Then being a coach to somebody, also being on the court, spending so much time. How did you navigate that line, or how did you balance that line?
I think I was always a parent first, a father first, and then a coach later. And whenever there was any kind of difference of opinion, it had to be the father taking over, and then the coaches. And I think that's where a lot of coach parents err, that they tend to take their coaching job too seriously, and that supersedes their parental job. I think that really helped, and I think that was one.
But
of
it's
the,
much easier said than done to draw that
It
line.
is, yes, but it takes a lot of maturity, and I think there again, when we are all for chasing the same dream, it helps a lot when a trainee also understands what we are going through, and I don't think it was a struggle for me. I think it came
Because
automatically.
also, Imran, you were not a known tennis player or whatever, like world-renowned tennis player. Because a lot of tennis players have tried to coach their kids, and I don't think so anybody has succeeded in that.
Yeah, I think coaching and
Yeah.
it's
playing
very
are two different
difficult to
things
do.
altogether. But
I mean,
I
Izhan
think,
doesn't listen to me.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
tells me that don't tell me,
Because he
my
was
coach
not-
told me to do this. So I'm like, okay.
but I think the advantage I had being a parent was that you're a girl and you understand that better. But a girl is never ready to listen to what she did wrong immediately after a match.
Not just a girl, nobody wants to listen.
The guys are a little bit different. They would listen to the
We
coach,
always
maybe
have
swear at
complaint
each
with
other.
girls, women, boys and men are all very.
No, it's not that. It's different. You have to understand that. Coaching a guy, they would scream at each other. He would say something, and they
And
would
get
they
over
would go
it.
get over it immediately and go have a drink together. It doesn't work that way with a girl.
Coach karo tum.
Yeah, it's different. It doesn't mean that just because Sania is a world number one, he will also become world number one.
Inshallah, he will.
Yeah, there could be, he could be, but there's no guarantee to that. So it's a different ball game altogether. That's something we need to understand. So as a parent, I had that time. I could time myself accordingly when you were in a mood to understand what I was saying, and because it needed to be helpful to you. There was no point in me saying something if you
Just
didn't
for
want
the
to.
heck of
Yeah,
it.
just for the heck of it.
So when I retired, I remember obviously and feeling a vacuum in my life, because obviously we did this for most of our lives. I mean, half of your lives and most of my life. What was that vacuum like for you guys? Did you guys suddenly find it very weird that we weren't traveling and all of a sudden we were like?
I was very happy with Izan and Dua bringing them up when you guys were working and all. I was okay.
No, but when I retired, it was like
already Izan was there.
I know,
right?
but it was like it was a very big part of my life that was
Yeah.
gone. So how did it feel? Like it was a very big part of your life also. So how did
Yes,
it
I
feel
think
at
you
that
do
point?
miss it a little bit,
Yeah,
but
we
also
do.
it's the age factor that comes in. We were at the right age. Everything fell into place as far as the tennis goes. Everything, health-wise, we were all right to be traveling the way we had to, like madmen. We were also enjoying the struggle and everything that went with it. Probably we are at a stage where we wouldn't have been able to do what we did at that time. So things fell into place, and we accept what it is. And
So you were ready for me to retire when I was.
I don't think we could have carried on that with the way we were, like traveling about 8 months a year to a week in every
we
country.
You could have played for another 5 years on the same level, but you decided to quit.
So the only Grand Slam that both of you or one of you has not been there with me was the 2005 Australian Open, which was basically where life changed again after that junior Wimbledon. And then when after Australian Open is really when things have just never been the same. I played Serena Williams, which people still talk about. It was over 20 years ago, and we still go out. And there are so many better matches that I've played, better opponents I have played against and beaten them. But people still talk about me playing Serena Williams. And it was an iconic moment, not just for us, but probably for India in many ways. That moment, you guys were not with me. So just tell us why you weren't there, and how did you actually find out that I got into, first round, second round, third
2004,
round?
we had decided to, because we thought that, December, January, that's the time there are not too many tournaments because only the Grand Slams are happening and you weren't going to be playing that Grand Slam. So we thought we'll take a break, and we were going for Hajj. We decided to go on Hajj. And then, as luck would have it, you qualified for the, for the Australian Open, and by then we had already decided on going to Hajj.
And at that time, money was not something we could just waste and say, no, we're not going
Yeah,
to
it was
do.
also about having once decided on Hajj, we didn't want to go back on that. So that was the first time, incidentally, we had ever had saved enough money to be able to travel on our own for Hajj. And so we went off there, and Nasima's best friend, Neela, traveled with you.
And Anuja.
And her daughter, who was my very
who was your
friend.
close friend. They traveled to Australia. And we were in the tent in Mina when I looked at my phone, and there were like about 100 missed calls. And I was extremely worried because Anam was alone in Hyderabad, and I really wondered what was going to happen, what had happened. So very reluctantly, I called up someone I knew, and they were so excited. I don't remember who it was. It's so excited.
It was Kanan.
Yeah, Kanan, I think.
Kanan, I remember.
He was so excited and saying that, Sania is in the third round and she's playing Serena Williams. And, that was, we were far off in a different world at that time. And then the excitement set in, and even the people in the tent wanted to pray for your success. I said, no, there are bigger things to pray for right now.
They shouldn't have wasted their prayers on that
exactly
at
what
that
I said.
moment.
And then I got a call from some unknown number, and I still picked it up. And that guy was a sports correspondent, and he said, "I want to come and interview you, sir. Sania is playing the third round at the Australian Open. She's playing Serena Williams," and he was all excited. And I said, "There's no way you can get to me. I'm in a tent where millions of people are out here. I'm in the middle of Hajj. So there's no way you can even find me." He said, "Just give me which tent number, sir, because I'm also doing Hajj. I would just want to get your reaction on it."
My God.
It was as crazy as that. Yeah, it was a great moment, and a great memory.
And I truly believe that because you guys were at such a holy place, I feel like some things they just happen, right? And a similar thing happened in 2015 when we won Wimbledon. And 2015 on match point, it was actually Ramadan at that point. So tell us about that story.
Yeah, I remember, the morning of the match, the final of Wimbledon, and you were a bit nervous. That's the first time I think I've seen you a bit nervy. Normally, you're such a cool customer. You were hitting the ball all over the place in the practice, and the match was in the evening. And I remember telling you, just calm yourself down. It'll all fall into place when the match starts off. And just trying to calm you down. And when the match started, there was quite a sprinkling of Bollywood people from Bollywood, and some cricketers and your friends in our players' box. And there was a lot of excitement. There was, I think, Javed Akhtar and his son Farhan Akhtar. There were a few cricketers. Then there was Huma Qureshi and her brother were there. And it was an exciting match for sure. The first set went to the wire. You lost 5-7. There was no breaks in the second set. It went to the tiebreaker, and you managed to whip it off with some tremendous tennis at the end, winning, I think, 7-4 in the tiebreak. The third set, you all were down 2-5, and that's when I realized that perhaps this could be the end of our dream. And you came back with some brilliance. You and Martina played some amazing tennis, and from 2-5, it came on to 5-all. And then the match was stopped. I remember Martina kept agitating because the light wasn't good, and she wanted the roof to be put on and the lights to start off. Anyway, they stopped at 5-all.
And it became an indoor court
It
then.
became an indoor court, and that's when I was given the chance to come in and talk to you all when you were inside. And both of you were getting a massage done
were
and highly
cramping.
excited. You all both were cramping. And all I said, I remember at that time, was just to calm you down. I said, "You have already won the match as far as I'm concerned. To come back in a final from 2-5 and to make it 5-all, as far as I'm concerned, you're already winners." And the only reason I said that was to make sure that you kept yourself cool. And I said that now, no matter what happens, we could win, we could lose, but the only way we are going to win is if we play to our strengths. So, Sania, if you ever see a chance to hit a big forehand, just go for it. And Martina, if you ever see a volley, don't let it go by, just finish it. Those are your strengths, you have to play for it. And that's exactly what you all did. When you came on, you won, I think, about 7 of the 8 points. You won and finished off the match, and that was the ultimate dream. Just as you were on match point, I remember your friend, I think Ebba, I was fasting. It was Ramzan, and she offered me a khajur and said, "Uncle, have this khajur and pray. I'm sure she'll win." And she did. You did.
Yeah, then there is obviously a divine blessing that always happens, and both the moments that I think was there in our lives. So with that, we have concluded this segment, and now we're going to play a small game. This is our last segment. The game is called Who Knows Sania Better? I'll ask the question, you'll give your answers, and I'll tell you who's right.
Okay.
One habit of mine that hasn't changed in years.
Anger?
Anger? I thought I'm quite a patient person.
No, anger.
Aap, Baba?
Or I will say stubbornness.
One answer you get.
Stubborn.
This is not
Okay, stubborn,
this is not
stubborn.
say
Stubborn,
everything
stubborn.
negative about Sania. That's not the
Why?
game.
But why?
The game is what is the habit?
Stubborn is a habit only, right?
भाई आपको तो मौका हो ना negative बात मेरे बारे में करने का. No, not stubborn. No, not anger. No. Like say a nice
Okay,
thing.
stubborn.
Okay.
I think relaxing at home.
See, this is opposite. These are the opposite thing. Okay, both of you are right. I am stubborn and I love staying at home. Mom, maybe try some positive answers.
Inshallah. Okay, next question.
Inshallah, she said. Okay. One thing I'm very particular about at home.
When you're relaxing,
No, I just at home. What am I
Home.
particular about?
Just relax in your pajama.
Keep everything neat and clean.
Neat and clean,
that. Relax in my pajama is a habit, mama.
Habit. Okay.
Positive
Sorry.
kuch to bolo.
Positive ही चाहिए, relax कर रहे बोले तो
Yeah, but
positive.
you're right. I need everything to be in order.
Order,
Like it's
yeah.
very important for me.
Yeah.
It gives me like I have some OCD traits.
Yeah.
Okay, what's something that I find very hard to forgive?
Lies.
True. What part of my career took the biggest emotional toll on me?
Emotional core was in Perth when that flag झंडे का problem
Yeah,
हुआ
I
था
think
ना
so.
that time.
Yeah, I think so because
That
Yeah,
was
that
the
was the
fair.
time when you were ready to give up tennis.
Give up tennis. And you cried on the national channel.
Fair. I
Front
think
of,
that is.
Barkha Dutt.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
What's one thing I miss about tennis the most?
Competition, for sure.
Definitely not traveling.
And winning? Winning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just walking on the court, winning
Yeah.
competition. Both of you have gotten correct answers. What's my way of showing love without saying it?
Giving gifts.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Feeding people.
Feeding
Yes.
people.
But Baba, you have to answer. Sorry, I've given the answer.
Well,
Yeah.
you've given the answer. You're right.
Thanks. Something I'm surprisingly bad at. I'm bad at
I don't
many
find
things.
any faults in you.
Of course, you're my mother. But you
I'm
only have
not-
negative things to say.
That's your habit, right? I'm telling
Okay,
you the
what
truth.
am I bad at?
Maybe you're bad at telling lies. You
No,
don't-
say it's like something normal.
क्या बोलूं फिर अभी? You're not bad at anything.
I know what I'm bad
Alhamdulillah.
at. Baba, what do you think I'm bad at?
तुम बहुत भोले हो, सब पे जल्दी भरोसा कर लेते हो.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
what am I bad at?
That is bad. No, सब पे भरोसा नहीं करना.
I'm bad at drawing, guys. Like
Drawing.
it can be
God,
as
that
simple
is
as that.
Cooking,
I'm bad
yes.
at cooking.
Cooking, yes.
Cooking.
Cooking.
I'm bad at drawing.
Cooking,
Cooking.
yes.
It
I
does
would
not
go with
need to be so deep, and you don't need to like jump into my psyche over here.
Cooking. You don't know how to. You know how to break an egg.
Now I know.
You know now. Good.
I didn't know till like 3 years ago, but
Yeah,
now
I
I
know.
know. I know how to make chai. Baba, I made you chai.
Yep.
Yeah.
I made you some chai too.
Yeah.
You make today
But
after
yeah.
this.
Who he should
He
make.
will make it. Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're making chai.
That PG tea bags and rainbow milk. You'll make it. Today.
One thing I pretend to enjoy, but I don't enjoy it at all.
Parties.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, meeting people, you are
It's
not close
party.
to, I think.
Yeah, true. Both are correct. I don't enjoy, and I have to pretend to actually do that. What do I struggle most with as a parent?
Are we disciplining him?
Discipline. So she's very disciplined.
No, it's not that. It's
Struggling
discipline.
बोले तो.
Disciplining him while still being loving.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think so.
yeah, but
But you
I'm
have both,
giving the
Because
answer.
I think
You can't be strict to
You don't-
Izzy.
you-
You want to, but you don't want to be strict to Izzy.
yeah,
I am
being,
strict
being
though.
stern with him is, I think,
Yeah. You
against
don't
him.
lie. You feel bad after that.
No, I do feel
Yeah, I know
bad.
that.
But I have to do because none of you are strict. So you kind of force me to be the bad one.
तो बट तुम लोग क्या तुम लोगों की तरबियत इतनी बुरी है, हम लोग स्ट्रिक्ट नहीं है तो कितने अच्छे बच्चे मेरे देखो दोनों.
Mama, this game is not about you. I know it's
Yeah,
about
it's
me.
about us only.
What is my guilty pleasure?
Having sweets.
Yeah, true. Well, not sweets,
Having that
but biryani.
biryani and having that kalakan and the chota pedas.
The only two
You love it,
meetha things
yeah.
that I like.
You love it.
What's my go-to way to deal with stress? You guys are already answered.
Going to the gym.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
When I'm going a lot to the gym, you should know I'm very highly stressed. So when you see me super fit, that means I'm actually not doing great mentally. Well, with that, you guys have passed, not with flying colors, but passed.
I think I got most of my answers
Even
right.
I mean,
I think she
answered
messed up my
half
score.
of
No, not
them.
at all. I answered all the questions. Though they were a little emotional, but they were right.
But also slightly
Yeah,
negative.
yeah.
I mean, this was not that kind of game. It was a game to like have a laugh at.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I guess you guys do know me a little bit. But like I said, we don't let people over here, anybody, go without gifts. So I have more gifts for both of you from our
Wow.
friends at Solitario.
When will you shoot again? We'll get more gifts.
No, we only call guests once. We don't keep calling them.
Well, since we have two guests, maybe twice we can.
Yeah, but you're getting 2 gifts.
Okay, that also I'll
Everybody
take.
gets 1 gift.
But that also I'll take.
But this solitario is you because you like diamonds, you because you need to give her more
I know,
diamonds.
that's what. तो पहले ही बोली, दोनों मैं ही ले लूँगी.
Yeah, you need to.
Thank you.
Because you love diamonds.
I love that.
And Baba,
you.
you need to give her
Thank
more
you.
diamonds.
Thank you.
Maybe start with this one.
I'll give it on camera so she can't deny it. Like she usually does.
Thank you. गोदी में
Nobody is
रख-
taking
ले
it
लेंगे
from you.
वापस.
Before we say goodbye, how was your experience on serving it up with Sania?
Really amazing, emotional, and fun.
Me, I'm overwhelmed.
You were the only 2 people who have not played pickleball, by the way. We should have
So
actually
we play tennis, we don't play pickleball.
Don't say that on this show. But thank you very much for being on our show, and we will make an exception maybe where we will recall you as guests again for the
wow.
next season.
Are we going to get gifts again?
More, you'll get more
Definitely,
gifts.
I'm in for that.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for calling. Thank you.
Don't forget to watch this episode on our premiere partner, Myntra Glamstream Play to Slay.